Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're looking at a fascinating intersection that is quietly but fundamentally reshaping our world: artificial intelligence and healthcare. Now, if you've been following the massive waves AI is making across pretty much every industry, you already know the technology is incredibly capable. But right now, we're exploring an environment where the stakes are quite literally life and death. We're diving deep into the pharmaceutical industry. Over the next few minutes, we're going to unpack the architecture of trust and figure out exactly what it takes to govern artificial intelligence in a space that absolutely cannot afford a single mistake.
Okay, let's dive right into Section 1, the next quality challenge, and looking at the tension between moving fast versus moving safely.
So, for pharma executives and quality assurance pros, the ground is shifting incredibly fast right under their feet. We are facing what is fundamentally the next massive quality challenge in this industry. Historically, this sector has been totally defined by testing physical chemical compounds in a wet lab. But now the challenge is about testing the logic, the algorithms, and the digital systems that actually help bring those physical compounds to the market in the first place. And there's a profound central tension here. It's this constant tug of war between moving fast and moving safely. The appeal to move fast is incredibly strong because, well, AI can drastically improve efficiency. I mean, we're talking about unprecedented acceleration here. Processes that have traditionally taken years and burned through billions of dollars. Consider early drug discovery. Identifying a viable molecular compound used to mean manually screening millions of possibilities. Today, AI models can simulate and predict protein folding or molecule binding in just a matter of weeks. The sheer volume of data these systems can process and the lightning speed at which they generate viable hypotheses is completely revolutionizing the traditional pharmaceutical playbook.
But, and this is a massive but, efficiency alone is not enough. In the broader tech industry, the whole operating philosophy is usually move fast and break things, right? Well, in pharmaceuticals, a broken algorithm or a hallucination in a clinical trial dataset doesn't just mean a software crash. It means a direct, literal threat to human lives and public health. Because of those incredibly high stakes, governance is the absolute determiner of trust. It's actually kind of striking when you step back and think about it. We so often picture AI as this wild, untamed digital frontier. Yet for it to be deployed in pharma, it literally has to be the most disciplined, strictly managed entity in the entire organization. Innovation creates the possibilities, sure. It opens doors to cures we couldn't even conceive of 10 years ago. But governance is what actually creates the trust required to walk through those doors. Without that trust, from regulators, doctors, and most importantly, patients, all that brilliant, rapid efficiency means absolutely nothing in this industry.
Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds. We're looking at where AI is expanding and its sprawling footprint.
So we've talked about the theory of trust, but to really grasp the challenge here, we need to look at the practical, real-world footprint of this tech. Because AI is no longer just some fun experimental project locked away in an isolated IT lab. It is sprawling across the entire pharmaceutical lifecycle. We are seeing deep integration into GXP environments, those highly regulated good practice standards dictating everything from clinical trials to the manufacturing floor. Take pharmacovigilance, for example, that's monitoring the safety of a drug after it hits the market. Instead of just waiting on manual reports from doctors, AI systems can now continuously process global health records, sift through everyday natural language in patient forums, and cross-reference medical literature. They can spot an obscure adverse reaction months before a human analyst might even catch a pattern. Or picture the manufacturing floor. Predictive AI models are literally out there monitoring the micro-vibrations of equipment just so they can schedule maintenance right before a machine fails and ruins a batch of life-saving medicine. And over in regulatory operations, natural language generation is helping teams draft the thousands of pages of required compliance documentation. The breadth of this integration is just staggering.
Which brings us to Section 3, the pillars of governance and the absolute necessity of structural integrity. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is understanding that this sweeping expansion creates immense operational risk if you just let it run wild. You simply cannot have a digital system that learns and evolves on its own operating inside a quality assurance framework without some seriously sturdy walls holding the roof up, right? We need structural integrity, and that's built on 5 specific, non-negotiable pillars. First up is transparency, a black box AI where we have no idea how it got its answer, completely unacceptable during a regulatory audit. We need explainability, period. Next is accountability. A machine can't be held legally liable, so a named human professional always has to hold the final responsibility for whatever the system does. Third is data integrity. The old rule of garbage in, garbage out is absolutely critical here. If you train an AI on biased or flawed historical data, the medical insights it spits out will inherently be flawed too. Fourth is validation. This is the rigorous process of proving the system consistently does exactly what it claims to do under all intended conditions. And finally, and this might actually be the most important one, continuous monitoring. Why? Because of something called model drift. Imagine an algorithm trained perfectly on patient data from 2020. Well, it might start making really poor predictions in 2024 simply because the underlying real-world demographics or health conditions shifted over time. You have to watch AI constantly and recalibrate it so its logic doesn't drift away from reality.
Let's transition to Section 4, the true measure of success, focusing on controlled adoption.
And this brilliantly illustrates our main point today. How do we actually evaluate a company's progress here? We have to completely shift our mindset and redefine what organizational success even means in the highly regulated world of pharma AI. It is a totally different ballgame than the consumer tech sector. In this space, innovation without governance just creates an unacceptable level of risk. I mean, an organization could deploy 10 different flashy machine learning tools across their pipeline, but if they can't audit them, they haven't scaled innovation, they've just scaled their liability. On the flip side, innovation wrapped in strict governance creates trust. In pharma, AI success isn't about bragging that you adopted the shiny new tool just to impress your shareholders. True success is measured strictly by controlled adoption. It's about deliberately pacing the integration so that every single new capability is matched perfectly by a corresponding safeguard. Controlled adoption is the ultimate gold standard metric because it proves, without a doubt, that an organization values patient security, rigorous compliance, and life-saving reliability way more than mere speed.
So, the crucial point to take away from all of this is that the architecture of trust isn't built by the technology itself. It's built by the human-led governance that surrounds and guides it. The digital transformation of healthcare is accelerating so fast, and the rules of engagement are literally being written right now, in real time. Which leaves us with a pretty vital question to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. Looking at the incredible speed of technological innovation versus the heavy, necessary burden of human safety, what do you believe is the biggest AI governance challenge for pharmaceutical companies today? Really think about it, because the answer to that question is undeniably going to define the very future of medicine. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll see you in the next one.